Did you realize the Marine Admirals have the most unique modes of transportation and each is more ridiculous than the next? Like we got Kuzon, who rather than traveling the seas in a ship chose to use his blue bicycle. And that's because with his ice Logia, he can freeze the water in front of him to travel without any issues. But what's even more insane is after he left the Marines, he traded in his bike for Camel, a supersonic penguin that is Kuzon's travel companion, and his mode of transportation. Then we got Fujitora, who uses his ability to negate gravity to his advantage. And when he's on his own, he'll make a small rock float and use this as his personal mobile platform, effectively allowing him to fly. We got Kizaru with the most iconic mode of transportation of all time, like when Bro made his grand appearance in Sabaody flying in on a cannonball. And all I gotta say is, this is how you make an entrance. And of course we got Green Bull, who with his Force Logia can create a makeshift flower helicopter. And while this does look a bit goofy, you gotta give Bro points for practical uses, but it's no Kizaru on a cannonball, that's for sure. Did you ever wonder who's the strongest man in the Marines? Because I guarantee it's not who you might expect. I'm sure your first thought is that it has to be one of the Marine Admirals. Akanu makes sense since he does have the Devil Fruit with the highest AP in the verse. But it's actually not him, and for that matter, while all the Marine Admirals are incredibly powerful in their own right, it's not any of them either. Now you might think, well in that case it has to be Garp, and while I will admit Garp is an absolute powerhouse, who could have decimated Akanu in an instant back in Marineford, it's not him either. That's because it's actually Kong, the current commander-in-chief of the world government. Kong was the fleet admiral of the Marines before Sengoku, but after receiving his new title, he gained insane levels of authority. He possesses the power to freely control the Marines and all the members of Cyberpol, and his authority can only be superseded by either the 5 Elders or Emu. Currently, he's the only person at the rank of Admiral or higher who's not been confirmed to be a Devil Fruit user. But I speculate that he not only possesses a Mythical Zone Devil Fruit, but can utilize all forms of advanced hockey. Did you realize that Aokiji vs Akanu is one of the most influential events in the One Piece storyline? Following Whitebeard's execution at Marineford, the ripple effect it created became waves the size of tsunamis. It brought great change in the New World, whether it was his last words reigniting the Age of Piracy, or the fact that many of his territories he took ownership of were now unguarded and up for grabs. And this forced the world government to respond, where they relocated the Marine HQ to the New World, but more importantly, the new leadership of the Marines. Because following Sengoku's resignation, the question was who will replace him as the new fleet admiral. Ultimately, Akanu was selected, and Aokiji was very much against this decision. After witnessing Akanu's brutal tactics in Ohara, his entire worldview was shattered, and he strongly believed Akanu's absolute justice would only create more anarchy. He detested the thought of Akanu taking the reins, since it would redefine the internal policies and procedures of the Marines, which is why they dueled for the title of Fleet Admiral. But after Kuzon lost, he refused to serve under Akanu, which forced him to resign and operate as a pirate.